Hi, warm welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. And coming back to what we are working on in terms of the topics, we've discussed the Brahma Viharas. The Brahma Viharas are the four highest states of emotional and spiritual well-being. I'll just go over each of them just briefly, and then come to Upekha or equanimity. So the first one we did practice on was Maitri or loving kindness, where we have this loving kindness for ourselves in this moment. So uh, it's not really a feeling; it's more an attitude where with every part of your heart, with every corner of your heart, your mind, everything you're filling up with kindness, and you're being kind to yourself, and gradually you extend that out to other people, people who you really love, then to people who you are neutral for, and then pretty much you send loving kindness to any to even the ones who people who you don't like. And uh, and there can be, in that state of mind, there can be no anger, when you're just sending loving wishes and you're sending kindness to anyone. You will not have the opposite states available at that time. So only one can be there at that time. The second what we did was compassion or karuna, where you are wishing, well, freedom from suffering for everybody. And like they say, if you knew somebody's full story, then it would be impossible for you to judge them. We only see a little part of themselves, of other people, and then they think, oh, we judge them. Oh, they were like this. You know, they've done this, and so yeah, if we knew people and their entire story, we would not be able to, we would not judge them, right? And there is a lot of power in compassion, for having compassion for others. The third one that we practiced last time was mudita or appreciative joy, where we are rejoicing in the good fortune of others. We're happy for others. And there is a sense of, like, there is a limitless abundance, in a way, that, uh, that you have, and that doesn't mean that I don't have, right? So there is just uh, a sense of, celebrating what other people have. And the opposite state of, having envy or negative comparisons, that won't survive when you are practicing mudita. uh, and coming down to the fourth brahma vihara, which is upekha or equanimity, that is having a state of balance where you're unperturbed, you're unruffled by everything that is going on. So there is basically a dropping of resistance to whatever is, right? So, like, I want to start with this story, where there is this, you might have heard of this story, where there is a great king who has, a lot of wealth. He has a very large kingdom, but he still feels restlessness. He feels that he's not at peace. And then he asks his advisors, or the wise people uh, in his kingdom, that give me a piece of wisdom that I can carry with me in every moment, which would help me no matter what, whatever, if it was a happy occasion or if it was a sad or difficult situation. And so many wise ones thought, and finally there was a sage who came and gave him this simple phrase, which reflects impermanence, and that was, this too shall pass, right? And so the king asked him to explain a little more. He's like, can you explain? So he says, the sage says, Your Majesty, whatever you experience in your life, whether it is in a moment of great joy, you're feeling, you're celebrating something, or it's an immense sorrow, you have to remember that it is temporary. Good times will not last forever. but neither will the difficult ones. They will also pass. Uh, and so the king was very moved by this wisdom, and then he had these words inscribed on a ring, right? So he was, so whenever he wore that, whenever he looked at that ring, it reminded him of this teaching, that wherever he was at this moment. And the king, during his entire life, he experienced many highs and lows. Uh, there was times of great prosperity when the kingdom was doing well, and then he also had moments when he has, excuse me, there are moments he has when he is facing war, he's facing enemy, he's having, personal challenges. And then at that time, whenever he looks at this ring, he is reminded that, even the triumph is temporary, and then he should remain humble and grounded at that time. And even a difficult situation will not last. So that's, and the deeper lesson here is the same, the equanimity that we are talking about, that this too shall pass. And, you know, we can stay grounded in the present moment. And we know this at a theoretical level, we know this, everybody's heard of this, that this too shall pass. Uh, but the value of, the practices, or doing this, intentionally practicing this meditation is, at least that's what I feel, felt, that when you sit in your meditation, you do this, like, even if it's breath awareness, you notice that the thoughts come and go, whatever I'm feeling right now, that also changes. So when you really sit with that experience, that is again, like, you build that strength of realizing that, I can keep coming back to this peace within myself. And so, like the Buddha said, there is five things, that remembrances that the Buddha gave, that these are what you should remember and keep coming back to. And those five remembrances are that I am subject to death. I have not gone beyond death. That's something that's certainly going to happen in my life. I'm subject to aging. I have not gone beyond aging. And sometimes many of us, we live with that feeling that, okay, or at least till you get quite old, you start feeling things change in your body. You don't realize that aging is very naturally a phenomena that is going to happen, right? The third one was, I am subject to illness. I have not gone beyond illness. Those are three things we remind ourselves. There is the fourth one, which is that all that is mine, that is beloved and pleasing, is going to be separated from me one day. And this sounds very hard, that everything that might have worked for, everything that I have achieved in my life, and we know that it's not going to last. One day it's going to be separated. And while it may sound that these things are so negative, or what is the point of reminding ourselves this, I believe it's very freeing to remind ourselves these things. And we it keeps us away from entanglement into various things in our life. The fifth one out of this is, the fifth remembrance that the Buddha gave is that I am alone responsible for my karma, and I'm the heir to my karma, and everything that I do, I will be responsible for, and I will, bear the consequences of. So again, the five things: I have not gone beyond death, I have not gone beyond old age and illness. These are all, I will be subject to all of these. Then all that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will one day be otherwise. And I am responsible for my karma, and everything that I do or I have done in the past is what I'm responsible for. So this is five remembrances that the Buddha gave, because and they're powerful in that when we remind ourselves, it again helps us stay very humble and grounded. Like, the previous one, where we were saying that this too shall pass. And so this is just going deeper into that, the health will pass, the the current youth or whatever age I am, that will never be the same. The life that I have will not remain. All that is mine will also be taken away. And so, so you start kind of a little bit detaching from whatever it is that you have been experiencing. And there is this this Zen story. Again, I'm coming back to a story because stories sometimes help us uh, remember, and they help us convey the message. So there's this story of a Zen master, and he's he has a student that comes to him, and he says that I have who has lost his entire harvest, in a big storm. So he said, I worked so diligently, I worked so hard to grow my crops, and then they're all gone. The harvest is completely gone. I don't know what to do. So the master begins to tell him a story about a farmer who who lived in China. And the story goes that this man had one horse, and uh, you know he used to really take care of his horse. But one day the horse ran away. So the neighbors came to him and they said, oh, that's so terrible, your horse has run away. And the man said, maybe, maybe not. And that used to be his response to everything. And the neighbors were puzzled, like, what does that mean? Then, so a few days later, the horse that he had came back, and he had run away into the wild, and he brought back another 3 wild horses with him. And this time the neighbors came back again, and he was like, wow, that's so lucky that, you have now 4 horses. And that's so great. And this guy says, maybe, maybe not. And so the uh, and he used to live with this attitude that we don't know whatever is best, right? So, and when these wild horses were there, his son was trying to tame one of these wild horses and riding these, but one of the horses, he threw the son down, and then his son broke his leg. And so when the son broke his leg, the neighbors came back again saying that, you know oh, this is really sad. Now these horses that he brought, the wild ones, they're really bad. They broke your uh, son's leg, and that's terrible. So he again says, maybe, maybe not. And because we are not certain, we are not sure of uh, what is happening, is that we think it's not good. This is not good for us, but we don't know. We don't know for certain that what is happening is good or not. And so then a few weeks later, there is, the country is at war. The country that they live in is at war. And the king's army, king's soldier come to recruit all the people, who are young and fit to fight. They want to take all the people to fight in the army for the country. But his son, they can't take his son because he broke his leg. And so the neighbors come back again and say, oh, this is wonderful that, your son has been spared from the war. And again, the man says, maybe, maybe not. And so the teaching, he said, is that your life is like this. We cannot know whether an event is truly good or is it really bad in the long run. When we look back at our lives, we will see that many, many times the things that we felt like were the worst things, was the most difficult thing that happened, that eventually turned out to be something good. That eventually you learned something from it, and it really helped you progress in your life. So the times when we think that this is like this farmer was saying, right, this is the worst thing that could have happened, my entire harvest is gone. He realized that that he was just wanting things to be a certain way, and that is where his wanting to control the outcome was what was causing his suffering, his agitation, right? Because he expected a certain outcome, and same with us, we expect things to be a certain way, and but when they don't turn out, we are very upset. And so this story again is reminds us of the state of equanimity, when you're able to stay calm and balanced in the face of life's unpredictable changes. Just as the man in the story accepted, this thing, whatever came, without rushing to label it as this is good or bad, the farmer learned to accept his situation, right? That and that helps us to know that everything in life is impermanent. What we think right now is the worst thing, that may eventually turn out to be the best thing. And in fact, what I realize, or I felt this, is whenever there is some major change that is to happen, then our life does become really, it does really change. Something drastic happens. Like I remember when I was supposed to, and I finished school, and there was this whole conversation about where should I go for college, admissions. Uh, I lived in a small town. I didn't want to. There was no nice university there. I didn't want to be there. But, the circumstances of our family at that time were, a lot of things were going on. And so we couldn't really, my family couldn't really send me to a different place, right, to study. But I wasn't sure what I wanted, where I wanted to go. I wanted to not study there. I wanted to go somewhere. And this is happening, by June, all admissions are done. By July, people have gone, they're going back to college already. And I was still, at the end, when the dates had passed, and I was still not, I had not taken any admission in college. And then one of my friends and her family, they turned up, and they were like, "Oh, where are you going? Which college?" I was like, "Don't know." And so they said no, but yeah, she was going to Chandigarh, and so her dad said, "I you also go and study there." But I said the date's already passed now for admissions, and I don't know. So he was like, "No, you come. I'll take you there, and I'll talk to the principal that you had this thing going in your family, and we'll get you admitted there." And so I had passed that date of admissions, everything, students were like, admissions had been done like a few weeks ago, and then they were supposed to start college. That's when he took me, and he helped, he spoke to the principal, she agreed for some reason, and I filled out the application, everything on the last minute, and I got admission into a college where I had not at that time, thought where I would go. But, it's just that it was so uncertain in my life, but where I ended up was so much better than what I could have thought where I will go. So that's just the point of, what I wanted to share this, right? That when sometimes things are beyond our control, we don't know. And I'm not saying I was not upset or agitated at that time. I was not in an equanimous state. I was really like worried, what's going to happen, where am I going to go to study? And but things happened in a way where you realize that, okay, this happened for the best, right? uh, it was like it was a difficult thing. I was in a town, and we'd had a major landslide at that time, and I had to go pretty much walk over the landslide to the other side. This was to get my documents, my the high school diploma and everything, because I wanted to go for this admission. And how everything worked out, eventually everything worked out. All right, so I just wanted to share some of these teachings, some of these stories. And the idea is that whenever these stories or things, we might know them theoretically. Yeah, this is, it's, everything passes and it doesn't stay. But when we are really faced with a difficult situation, then do we realize, do we remember this, right? In the state of like, like there is a story from Buddha's life about how somebody who came and he really insulted him. He really spoke very badly to the Buddha and said many mean words. He was very rude and he was very insulting. But Buddha was very equanimous. He, in the face of that insult and provocation, the others around him thought that he would respond. Uh, but the Buddha says, he says to that person, his name was Kunda, he's like, Kunda, if you give a gift to someone and they don't accept it, then what happens to your gift? So the man who's very, very upset, he says, then that stays with me. So the Buddha says that in this case, I'm not taking your, the bad words or abuse or whatever you have given to me. I'm not taking that. So that just stays with you. I'm not accepting it. Right. So, and that's a very high state to be in, right? When we are faced in a situation where we are being blamed for something, where we are, when we are angry, then that's the time when we can, if we can really just pause for a breath, we can just pause for two breaths and see that uh, can we at this time just hold back, can we just at this time pause, and then it can change the whole outcome of the situation if we can just be less reactive, just be a little less reactive. Um, and so like I was saying that uh, like hearing this story of the Buddha, we recognize that a different way to respond is possible that can bring us peace. Because many times we are thinking, of course, when I'm in that angry state, of course I will, of course I will yell, of course I will do this, But when we can just even theoretically understand this, it can, start to bring about a shift uh, in our in our lives, really. That this anger, this thing that I'm feeling right now, if I just breathe like 5 breaths for this, it would have changed, and then I could respond in a different way. It is not to say that whatever was happening, we stay with it or we put up with it, but just in that moment, if we can, you take a pause and notice. So yeah, I would now like to go for a meditation on impermanence. So if you'd like to sit up and be straight in your seat with a straight spine as much as you can, and just allow your body to relax and free from any tension. We just become present in this moment. So in this meditation, we will explore the impermanent nature of all things, recognize that change is inevitable, everything is changing. And then we learn to accept it with mindfulness, with equanimity, upekha. The word is upekha for equanimity in Pali, or upeksha in Hindi. We just take a moment to set an intention, something simple like, I seek to embrace this impermanence of life with wisdom and peace. That I am open to noticing and remembering this teaching about impermanence. And may I bring this into my life. We start with that intention. It will help us to cultivate more acceptance. Just let your body relax. Stay in an upright position. We take a few deep breaths. We just notice the air filling our lungs, and then coming out, we notice it at our nostrils. Just notice any tension that you may be holding in your body, any tightness in your shoulders, in your jaw. And just relax, relax the face muscles. Allow the body to soften. We're not trying to control any breath. We're just allowing it to be in its natural state. Just noticing. Just notice as each breath comes in, that this breath, this oxygen is nourishing us. With every exhale that you feel leaving your nostrils, we see that it's a reminder that, all things come and go. Everything comes and goes. Just allow yourself to sink into the rhythm of your natural breath. With each breath, you are connecting with the fleeting, with the changing nature of life itself. We notice that everything is constantly changing, the body is constantly changing. There are trillions of cells in our body that completely die and new ones are built. I believe in 3 months, the entire all the cells in our body change. Like every cell that is existing today, 4 months later will be dead, and a new will be there in its place. So the body is doing this all naturally by itself without any of us intervening at any level. And this change is constantly happening in our bodies. Likewise, our thoughts are constantly changing as well. Everything that comes in our mind, thought comes, it arises, it stays. Some things stay more often. Like I have still have that sometimes, but earlier on in my meditation journey, I would often notice that a to-do list was getting formed. I need to do this. That was what kept coming up for me very often. And you just tell yourself, okay, this I can do later. And then you just watch that thought and then just let it pass. Similarly, our emotions, our feelings, they are fleeting too. Like one may be happy or anxious or calm, but these also feelings just come and go. We can observe them like clouds in the sky. We're just recognizing that this moment, whether it's difficult or joyful, it will eventually change. We just bring ourselves to this thought that everything changes, nothing stays the same. And I am part of this ever changing flow of life. Nothing stays the same, it's always changing. And I am a part of this ever changing flow of life. Just allow yourself to feel the freedom that comes with this, with accepting this change. We are not defined by this single moment or any moment in our lives, even if it was the most difficult moment of our life. That's part of a continuous cycle of transformation. Even in nature, we observe that it's always constantly changing. The leaves on the trees, they grow, they fall, and they decompose. The waves in the ocean arise and then recede. The flowers bloom and then they wither away. Everything in nature is changing. And it's not something to be afraid of. Like the tree that loses all its leaves doesn't live in a fear that, oh, what if these leaves never come back? There is that trust. The tree is standing through the winter, through the harsh cold. And I'm sure it believes that, okay, in spring, my leaves will grow back. So it's not something to be afraid of. It's just something to embrace. And as we feel connected to nature, we recognize that the same changing is happening within us as well. As we bring our attention back from any thoughts, anything that's going on, and we repeat this that this moment is exactly as it's meant to be. This moment is exactly as it's meant to be. I accept the impermanence of life with peace in my heart. Once again, this moment is exactly the way it's meant to be. And I accept the impermanence of life with peace in my heart. And you will feel a sense of calm settling within you when you know that you're not attached to one outcome, but you're flowing with the changes that life brings. And we recognize that equanimity does not mean indifference, doesn't mean I don't care. As Jiddu Krishnamurti would say, it's not like I don't care. It's the difference is I don't mind what happens. It's a deep peace that arises from embracing the ever-changing nature of life. And just as we can, we see the seasons change, then you can approach all of life's transitions with the same sense of balance and peace. Like when I first moved to the US, I would often think that, winter's the worst. I don't like winter. I don't like the cold. I feel I should go away from here in the cold. And I kept having this resistance whenever winter would come around. I was like, yeah, the days are so short. There's not enough light. And I would complain about everything through winter. Oh, winter's too long. Until I think more recently, I just accepted winter the way it is, and then it started become something I even enjoy it now. I might not go out in the snow that much, but I still enjoy the shift that happens, that these are days we spend more indoors, it's more cozy time being inside and everything that winter brings, so I feel that just the acceptance of this is how winter is, and not expecting winter to be something different. In a cold place, this is how winter is, and we just accept that. And when we drop the resistance, it just feels it just feels so peaceful. Like I have no resistance to like winter coming now. It's, there's like some preparation. Okay, I need to, bring out my winter clothes. I need to, whatever we need to do to prepare for the season. But in fact, I really like now, like almost wait, okay, winter's gonna come, that's what you do in winter. So it's just really accepting the change. Just again bring your awareness back to the room, to the moment. We take a moment to express gratitude for this wisdom of impermanence. Because it's the changes that allow us to grow, and for the peace that comes from accepting what is. Whenever we are struggling, it's only because we are not accepting what is. So, my wish for everyone is may you continue to live with the understanding that all things are constantly changing, and may this bring you peace and balance and wisdom. And may you embrace life as it unfolds, knowing that impermanence is not something to fear, but it's a natural part of the beautiful flow of existence. So we relax with the changes. Whenever you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and bring back your awareness to the world, and carrying with you this peace, this wisdom, knowing that this too shall pass. Like this moment of being in this peaceful state, this also is not permanent. It's just there now. And later there'll be moments of, you know, excitement. There will be moments when we are hurrying for something. There may be some restlessness. But there is a peace in knowing that we can always come back to this state. And that can be a very beautiful anchor for our lives.
Thank you, Puneet. That was beautiful.
Thank
One
you.
line I remember from what you were saying is flow with the changes that life brings, just like nature embraces change. So that was one of the things you said.
I love what you said about winter, and I've had a similar relationship with it. And as you were saying it, I was feeling this great, like, yes, almost like, sorry, winter, I've treated you like this, and yeah, coming to that, and it happened the same way where I was like really resistant to it and accepting, and then you start to see the beautiful things that it brings, um, and even though you may not like totally like it's not comfortable, right, in some ways, but it's still like, yeah, it's great, it's nice, the gifts it brings is still nice, so to be grateful for that as well. So yeah, thank you for that. It brought about very nice feelings of like, sending some love to winter.
Mm.
Right? Sending love to whatever we are finding the most difficult in this time, actually.
Yeah.
Right? We can
Yep.
send love to that part, like everything else in my life is fine, but why this? Why that one thing? There must be one thing that is really troubling us. Could be about our children, could be in our, at work, could be something. There'll be at least one thing and can we just try and send this love to that, and that's fine. That will also change, right? It's a you might not like something, and it just might be a sign that you need to change this, right? That's fine too. So I'm just flowing with that. Anybody else wants to share any any thoughts, anything that came up for you?
I always also like the story, like we've said this story. So the farmer story. Whatever is happening is like, is it good? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So I like that story a lot. So whatever happens, if we are not really sure it's good, we can just at least use that line. Is it good? I don't know. Maybe not, because who will think that breaking your leg is also going to be a blessing? But breaking that leg, it turned out that he was like really. Oh, my children put some funny thing on the Zoom. I think so. I have extra eyebrows and extra red lips. Sorry about that.
How
Oh,
wonderful.
so funny,
That's
how
also like,
wonderful.
that's also a change.
For a
Flow
change.
with the change.
Like, how did that happen? Like, so, okay, I grew eyebrows while doing the meditation, I guess. So. No, I'm just saying that maybe not is that is such a beautiful thing, because
Yeah.
a lot of time things happen and I'm like very sure, oh, this is bad, but then it may not be that bad. And the good things, after all, they say, right? How like there are more. What is that line? That there are people are there's more sadness in this
More,
world because of
more
the wishes
tears,
that were granted.
Yeah, that's Teresa of Avila. She said more tears have been shed for answered prayers than for unanswered prayers.
Correct. Yeah. So when we are praying for something also, we don't show. So yeah. So that was
I heard
really.
there's a
Oh,
book called
Sapna says looking
Unanswered.
lovely. Yeah. I wish I had like this thick eyebrows. Thank you, Sapna. Extra red lips and eyebrows looks good. Nice makeup. Zoom facilitates all this.
Oh gosh.
Seriously.
There's a book I heard called Unanswered Prayers. I don't know. I've not read it. I just came across that there's a book like that recently, so maybe something to check out as well.
That is
But it's
interesting.
true. So you just wait while you don't see what the blessing is. You just wait. Patience, right? That's the other big quality.
Yeah. And the equanimity is like, I think, what taking it lightly. Let's see what happens. Curiosity.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we can be, if we are outright happy, also sometimes that comes, right? That fear comes, that what if, the evil eye comes. Like, so let's not get into too happy, too sad, whatever. Like, it doesn't mean that we won't be happy, we'll just laugh, but either way, it's going to pass. So, hi, Neha. Sapna says Neha is here today.
You can turn on your videos, anybody, if you're comfortable, you can.
Or you can just
Yep.
speak also if you just.
Or you can just
You can
speak,
just speak
yeah.
as well.
Or you can drop a
Hi, where
word in the
have this
chat.
person been?
Bhavna,
Miss
where are
iPhone. Bhavna.
Hi, I was missing you guys so much.
Same
I
here,
can't tell
same
you.
here.
we missed you too.
We miss you. We're
I
like,
Oh,
where are
no.
you? Where is that little one who comes and,
And hug.
really, we love her.
oh
So, hope you have been
yeah,
well.
We were traveling last 1 month, like all over Tamil Nadu, Auroville, and everywhere. So
Nice.
it
Oh,
was
beautiful.
wonderful. There were a lot of lessons, and today's session came out to be one of the beautiful sessions to start this year with. When I was missing your sessions, I was like, "Ay, can I come back? Can I do it? Can I do it?" But somehow I wasn't able to. But thank you all of you for such a wonderful session. Puneet, especially you for this in this moment at this particular point of time. This was what actually I think we all were looking forward for. We all have certain actually resistance to situations in our life, but if we flow in it, then things will be much more in ease with us. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
So,
coming on and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank
thank
Lovely to
you.
see
you.
you.
Such a
This is
beautiful trust comes into the universe, right? When you start believing ki everything is fine, you're dropping that resistance, that whole thing of whatever faith you will have in the universe, in God, whatever, that will be so much stronger because you know that, this is what's supposed to happen, this is what's meant to be, right? At some level. Was really happy to see you. I'm so happy to see you today. Thank you for coming back, Bhavna. Oh, you're on mute if you're saying something.
yeah, because there is a music in my background, so I thought I was on mute. Yeah, me too. I think you guys are like my spiritual family. So if I am not connected with you, then not connected with something in me. So that's how I also
Uh,
cherish these moments.
yeah.
Thank
Bhavna,
you.
join us for the gratitude challenge. If you haven't seen, go on the YouTube and watch the video we had last week. And if you can, because it's really good for the kids too. I'm doing it with my kids and I think I love it. It gives them a homework to, look for good things in life.
I am doing it. Like
Okay,
2 days I've done it with my daughter.
that's great.
I didn't share the way it is. Like with her, it is I 5 things. You tell me what were good in today's day.
Yeah.
So she does
Right.
in that space, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this. So I'm gonna catch up with all the homework which is being done. So I'm
It's
stationed here for next
expanding
one
our,
week.
yeah, it's expanding our repertoire also, right? Like, oh, we are
Yeah.
just thinking that much. Now this is like appreciate yourself, like three things. I had so much hard time thinking of three things.
Yeah. No.
Me too. I was just asked. Actually, I had this question of how self-love actually, like because you underestimate so many things about yourself also that you don't know what to write for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a practice. Like, how do I write something nice for
Practice, yeah.
myself?
Yeah.
No,
When we
but
can practice self-guilty so easily, we should be able to practice self-love.
true.
Yeah. And which
Self-guilty
is
is
this,
like available to you any time of the day. You name it and yeah, I'm guilty for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll make 108 list. So why not the other way around?
Yeah,
Isn't
they
it?
say you write 108 things that is awesome about you. There's a game also that maybe we can play it sometime in one of our sessions, but it's like I'll say something and you could play it with your friend or anybody. You say something awesome about
Yeah,
you.
awesomeness game.
Yeah, the awesomeness game. And then, I
Yes.
say something
Yeah.
that's awesome
So you
about
have
me.
to say what's awesome about me. Like I will say what's awesome about me is this. And then, then you will say, oh yeah, that really is awesome about you. And like
Then
that will
I'll say
keep going.
what's awesome
We take,
about me.
we take turns and keep going around and round. Like it will change the
wow.
whole feeling about how you feel about
How you
yourself.
feel about yourself, yeah.
If you have time, we can do it
Do
for
it with some friends.
one thing you can say about anybody. Like
Actually,
for
there's just five,
very
six of
easy
us.
to say about Puneet because
Anybody
he just
can
had a
unmute. I don't know
fantastic
if
session.
I know Neha was in the market.
For Puneet, I think the
No,
best
you're
thing
supposed
about
to say about yourself.
About
All
yourself.
Oh, yourself?
You have to say
oh,
about yourself, and then we have
Okay.
to say, yes, Bhavna, that really is awesome about you.
Yeah, what's awesome about Bhavna? That's the challenge.
And then Bhavna has to say
Maybe
that
you
because
first, Shubhra,
many
let
things are coming to me, but I'm going to restrain myself.
no, you want to go first,
okay.
then let her think for a minute.
Yeah,
You
actually, yeah. She already
Oh,
told us
no,
it's
it's
hard.
like,
I'm thinking about what is awesome about me is I can laugh at myself anytime.
that really is. That really
That
is.
is awesome about you, Shubhra.
yeah.
I just laughed at my eyebrows in this session, so I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying them. Okay. Smita,
Okay,
you go. She's still
I
thinking,
go.
I think.
Okay, what's awesome about me is that I can find something good in everyone.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that is awesome about you.
Okay, Puneet.
Oh, okay. I thought now we are asking Bhavna. So,
We
uh,
gave her extra time. That's it. We're being nice.
what is awesome about me is, the way I have this thing for learning new things and, you know, just improving myself, growing myself. I think that is something I really do appreciate about myself.
That is awesome
That
about
is awesome about you, Puneet.
Hmm.
Okay, now your turn. Enough grace.
Yes. The awesome thing about me is that I take all the unknown challenges face to face, like, on the face. And sometimes it's difficult, but I still find a way. So I think maybe that's the
Warrior.
awesomeness that,
Yeah, and
yeah.
that is awesome because
That
that
is
is
awesome.
awesome.
everybody can do that, Bhavna.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
that is something awesome.
that is awesome
Yeah,
about
I
Yeah.
always try to break my patterns. Like
Yeah.
always. Like I feel that I work on it. That okay, fine, this is the pattern I have behaved. How do I become a better person and not behave in the same way? Finding my uncomfortable zones and then working on that, which is very difficult sometimes,
Yeah.
but I'm trying. I'm trying. I think that's this.
That is also awesome. See, two
That
things.
is
You found two
awesome.
awesome things already. Hi.
So
And then
here
one
there are
awesome
two
thing is
more
speaking.
kids with me.
Yeah.
My nephew Kriday, and
Hi.
this is Anhad. You were missing Anhad.
We know
Hi,
Anhad. We've
Anita.
been missing her.
Yeah, Anhad. So everybody was missing you.
Yeah, we'll do another art session, so we'll
We'll do
have
an art
Anhad join
session
us.
soon.
Yeah.
She came to me and she asked the same thing. Oh, we are not having
No
an
art.
art session today. Oh my God, it's been
In
so
the
many days.
gratitude one, we had in the gratitude last week, we had a little art thing. So you can watch the last 15-20 minutes for that.
Yeah, so I told her that these are the ones who gave us the gratitude challenge. So she was like, okay, but I'm more interested in the art session.
I'm going to do a gratitude art thing now that you mentioned. I'm going to do something this week. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
post a
Yeah.
video.
Thank
cool.
you guys for
Anita, thank
joining.
you guys. Thank you. Neha
Thank
and
you.
Okay.
Anita, quickly,
Taniya
what
and
is
Anita,
awesome
if you want
about
to
you?
share. Yeah.
We know Anita a bit,
Uh,
Yeah.
and Neha is new. So Anita,
Yes. Um, I'm grateful that I live in Florida. After you all have complained about the cold weather there, I've shivered initially, and so grateful to be here in Florida. I
Amazing.
know y'all don't want
Say
to hear
what's
that.
awesome about
But
you.
what is awesome about you?
About me,
Yes.
my ability to pick myself up, brush myself off, and get on with life. I
Nice.
think life has kicked me down so many times that the one thing I appreciate about myself, I just pick myself up, move on.
That's resilience, right?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
That's
beautiful.
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's truly awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very awesome about you, Anita.
I know.
Neha, your turn since
I
you
know
have
Neha
stayed
is in the
back.
market, she said, right? Yeah. She
Sorry?
can't speak, I think. Neha, can you
She will
speak?
love it.
She can't. She said next time I would love to speak because she's listening. Yeah.
Ah, okay, Neha.
Okay, and
But
Sunita also said thanks and she had to leave.
yeah,
What is awesome about Neha is even if she's outside, like she's attending the session. So that's
that's true.
definitely
That's
awesome
at least
about
is
Neha.
awesome about you to prioritize this in spite of everything. Yeah.
Smita,
That's
quickly, you want to
correct.
tell about the
Hope
next
to see you
week?
again, Neha.
Hope to
Yep.
see you again. Yes. I know we are less people, but maybe people will watch the video. So if you want to just say about what next week's session, something.
Oh, yeah. So I haven't really thought through the whole flow or anything, but we're planning to do an authentic relating game session. So it's something like what we did about this awesome game. Like we'll do things like that. I don't know what the theme will be, but we'll sort of play authentic relating games. It helps us deeply connect with ourselves and with the other people. So it's a skill building of how to communicate effectively, share what's truly going on within you and bring it into that space of where you're connecting with another person. So that's what authentic relating is. And we'll play a few nice games like this. And we might do it in smaller groups within this. So we'll go into breakouts depending on how many people are there and so on. So it should be fun. So do join us next week.
And the best thing about the authentic relating games is it brings you to the presence.
Yes,
Because
of course.
you forget all about worries because you are playing that game, you're in the moment. So that's the favorite thing. So you feel kind of refreshed. This is a different kind of energy.
Yeah.
All of these things have different energies. Like meditation is different, creating art is different, and then this is another thing that I really, really love. So
Yeah, it's called relational meditation. So usually you think meditation is to sit and close your eyes and just, be present. Here you're being present with open eyes and while you're speaking with another person, which is what happens in our day-to-day life. So it's like you're building that skill of being present, being tuned in, even as you're awake, as you like opened eyes, interacting with the world, engaging with the world, and you're still trying to see, be in that state of presence. So that's I find it very cool because it's like because that's most part of our day. It's very easy to be like Puneet was saying, yeah, you experience a great state of peace in this moment when you're just by yourself, no distractions. But can you do that in relation with another person, even when they're triggering you, even when all of that is happening? So it's a great skill to build to get to that point. So yeah.
Okay,
all
look
right,
forward to
and then
seeing you all again.
yep. We
Thank
hope to
you.
see you all again. Please continue with the gratitude challenge, and the week after we have the call on the gratitude challenge just to share experiences
Yes, and do
and
share in the
shifts.
interactive group if you're called to even one line about any of the prompts that call out to you to say, okay, let me share about this. Do share, so that'll be fun for others to see. For example, Bhavna said as she was struggling with saying what do you feel, what do you love about yourself. So when you see someone else write it, you're like, oh yeah, even I have that quality. Oh, I didn't even think that's lovable, right? So things like that is great when you see in an interactive group. So.
Yeah. All right.
Uh,
Wonderful.
one more thing, Smita, which is the book you were saying?
Unanswered prayers. I haven't read it, by the way. I just recently came across someone mentioning about it.
Okay, what's the author name? Like,
I'll find it and put it in the
cool.
group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thanks so
Neha.
much.
Bye, Anita.